Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are here sharing their expertise and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, where we help businesses grow through outside the box visibility and automation strategies. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. You picked a great day to be here with me and my special guest, but stay to the end because I have a special gift for you. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my guest today, Binta Patel with Zen Medical Services. So welcome, Binta, to the podcast.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a yes and spending your time with me here today. Binta, can you kick us off and share with us a little bit about yourself, about Zen Medical Services, and your role within it?
Sure. My name is Binta Patel. I'm founder and CEO of Zen Medical Services. So Zen Medical Services is a medical revenue cycle management company, and I will tell you what it means in a very simple terms. So when you go see a doctor, you essentially go see a doctor, but you really don't pay a doctor. Maybe you pay a copay of $10, $15. That's about it. And then you go home. But how does doctor or any medical practice get paid, right? So the medical practice has to send out the healthcare claim to the insurance company, and the insurance company pays the provider. And that all process is what we as a Zen Medical Services do. We help medical practices get paid from insurance companies as well as patients. So there are multiple steps involved in this process, and all the medical practices need help in this, and that is what we help our practices with.
So that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. So are there specific medical practices you help, or is it just any medical practice that you can work with and support?
Well, essentially, we can help with any and every medical practice that sends out claims to an insurance company, whether it's a Medicare, Medicaid, all your PPOs like Cigna, Aetna, United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, any particular provider that has to work with a health insurance company, we are capable of working with those providers. We, however, over a period of 13 years of working in this industry, we have kind of more specialized into certain fields like cardiology, ophthalmology, gastroenterology, OBGYNs. But essentially, we can help with any medical practice and, in fact, surgery centers as well. We work with a lot of ambulatory surgical centers too. Anybody who needs to send claims out to insurance companies and get the payment, we can help with all of those practices. And now we have been doing it for 14 plus years. So we have extensive experience on how to help these practices.
Yeah, you've seen it all probably in the last. Yes, absolutely. And we'll get into all of that going shortly. So Binta, why is revenue cycle management so important for private medical practices, especially in today's healthcare environment?
Great question, Heidi. Why is it important? I mean, think of it. I will tell you simple example. If you are an accountant, if you're a lawyer, you get paid upfront for the services or within 30 days of you provide the services. Whereas healthcare provider, after working for all these years, they study the most, they work the hard, and for them, payment is always a struggle. When I say struggle, what it means is that doctor sees a patient, sends out the claim. It could take anywhere from 30 days to 60 days to 90 days, and sometimes never they get paid. So it's a pretty long cycle between the time they provide the service and they get actually paid. Now, during this entire process, there are so many different small steps that has to happen right in order for them to get paid. All the way, like starting from the time a patient walks into the clinic, making sure that they have an active insurance policy. They have authorization in place for the service that they are supposed to provide. Let's say somebody's having a cataract surgery, there is an authorization for that surgery on file. Then the claim needs to be filed accurately. Then a claim is, again, if it's denied, somebody needs to follow up on that, making sure that insurance has paid the claim accurately. If there is a patient balance, the patient balance has to go out to the patient. And then all those steps has to work together in conjunction to for provider to be paid. So now more and more providers are running and into this issue where patient payments, deductibles are going up. So they have tough time collecting money. If they are not paid, it's tough for them to run as a business, as an individual practice. And that's why so many private practices gets bought over by hospitals, so that they don't have to run the business of medicine. And that's where companies like us come into play to help them, save them, make them financially successful.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing when speaking to a lot of doctors on this podcast, we hear from all of them that when going through medical school, they were not taught business. Business is not a part of their curriculum when they're becoming a doctor. And as a patient, we don't really care whether they can run a business or not, right? We want to make sure that they can take care of us in the capacity that we are going to them basically hiring them to take care of us. So yes, doctors do need support in these other areas to make sure that they're running their business efficiently. Because at the end of the day, the business piece, the dollars, the numbers, that matters. And I know just from people I know that are going to doctors, if a medical code is entered incorrectly, they're not getting that referral that you were talking to. So not only is it important in billing, but it's also important for the insurance company to be able to approve that referral. I know somebody that 3-4 times they were denied. It turned out that the doctor was sending the wrong referral code in order for them to get to see the next doctor. So yes, this is extremely important. And it's really important that these doctors are supported. They've got a lot going on. They've got staff to take care of. They've got patients to take care of. So anything that you can do, I'm sure your clients are extremely appreciative that you're taking this piece off their hands. And from what I'm guessing you are probably saving them so much money, because if they were doing this in-house, they would be getting a lot of denials, which I can only imagine in the 12 years that you've been doing this, the money that you recovered that they would have lost. Correct?
Absolutely. I mean, going back to Heidi, your point, when doctors go to medicine school, they are taught how to take care of the patients, but the business of medicine is something they are really not going through. And that's where they run into challenges when they come out and they start their own practice. That's altogether another ballgame of managing the practice, hiring, retaining people, training people, making sure that end-to-end patient experience is taken care of and still getting paid. So there are so many moving parts in this. And yes, I mean, going back to the point of having somebody in the office and doing the billing versus people like us, right? How do we help providers? Essentially, not just saving money is one thing, but it is getting them paid more for the same service that they have provided, right? So I would say you see 100 patients in a week. Most of the practices, whether they have somebody in the office or you are taking some services from someone like us, you get paid on an average to 80 patients out of those 100 patients. But those, or max 85, but those 15 patients you will not get paid. And that's the difference between a profitable practice and a non-profitable practice. You want to get paid on those remaining 15% patients to have some profit in the practice. And when you have somebody working in the office, they work very hard. People do spend a lot of time. They do their best job. But it's not just billing is one portion of a practice. You need somebody to look at your practice holistically end to end to help you fix those broken processes so that you get to that 15% remaining money that you have not collected. And I think that's where we kind of help practices collect that remaining 15%. I wouldn't say 15, I would say 13%. Even with us, we cannot get to 100%. It's 98% collection rate is what we are able to help practice, because there is always that 1-2%, which no matter how much you fight with insurance companies, tough to get sometimes for various reasons.
Yeah, 98% is really good though. And like you said, people will think, oh, 15, 15 out of 100, that's not bad numbers. But
Mhm.
you had just shared like those 15 people make or break a profitable business. And you really wouldn't think that from the outside in. You'd think, oh,
Mhm.
85, oh, that they're crushing it. Right.
Right,
But in
right.
the medical field, it's a lot different. So I would love to know from you, Binta, why? Like, why did you start this? Why did you decide to go into this field and enter the medical billing industry?
Well,
Or
I
how
think
did you, or
every,
how?
sure. I love this question. How did I start? So I am a software engineer myself. I have worked in a corporate environment for many, many years. And in 2007, my son was born. And leaving him at home, going to office, going to a 9 to 5 job, or dropping him at a daycare at 8 o'clock. I mean, getting him ready at 7, dropping him at daycare, going to office, coming back, picking up. I'm like, okay, this is not something I want to do. It was the guilt that was building up in me. And I'm like, you know what? I want to start something of my own. I do come from a business background. My grandfather had a business, my father had a business, and they were always like, you should start something of your own. You may not make that much money, but it's the pleasure of having your own business. And that's how I thought of starting something of my own. Now, when I started, of course, living in California, surviving with just one income was not a possibility. So I'm like, I have to continue working and find something on side that kind of allows me to have my own work. And evaluating different things, capital was a constraint. I didn't want to invest extra money, so there were different areas, and medical billing is something that came to me. Is like, okay, this is something that I can start without money investment. Of course, I had to invest my time, I had to get certified, and not just that, I didn't how to get even the first client, right? So that was a journey. During my regular 9 to 5 job, I would go during the lunchtime, I would go doctor's office door to door with my certificate, like, hey doctor, I'm medical certified medical biller. Would you be willing to, help me with your practice? So yeah, that was the beginning. And actually there was a one very kind cardiologist who I'm thankful to this date is she gave me a chance. I said, hey doc, I cannot work 9 to 5. I have a full-time job. I have a baby, but I can work after 5 to 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And given she was a cardiologist, she used to go to hospital. She's like, you know what? Anyway, I'm in office till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Why don't you come in the evening? And she allowed me to start. And I think that's the start of my soul entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that you had support of the men in your life,
Yeah.
your grandfather and your father, because not many people have that, and I love how they shared it with you, it may not make you a lot of money. It may not make you rich, right? And this gets to be yours. So, and not many people think about that. A lot of family members or friends will actually discourage people from starting their own business because it's a lot of hours. You may be working 80 hour. Like I heard this quote recently and it was like, I stopped working a 40-hour job for somebody else to work an 80-hour job in my business. Right. So
Yes, absolutely.
I love that they shared like this is yours, and there's ways that we can create it so we have the freedom, especially if you're a mom. The reason I started my business is because I was going through a divorce and I had 2 kids and I had stayed home with them before that. So I really wanted to be able to be home with them. They may now be like, but mom, you work all the time, which is totally true. And I also get to be home for them versus out of the house. So there's that. So I really love your story and what you shared because it resonates. And I know it's going to resonate with other people listening as well. And also that you shared how someone gave you a chance, you're like, this is what I can do. And she's like, great, let's go do it. And it just takes that one, right? When you're getting
Yes.
started.
It takes one person to guide you, to lead you.
Right, absolutely. So, how do medical practices been to benefit from working with you with Zen Medical Services versus hiring one biller in-house, that in-house person that we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier?
So I think the way I always tell my medical practices is that when you have a biller in the office, they are, like I was saying, they do a pretty decent job, but they have a limited billing experience, right? And they might be working with you 5 years, 10 years, but they have a laser focus. They can do what they are good at. And as I was saying, medical practice is more than just billing. It's the complete process. And that's where even we as a company have evolved to help practices with more than just billing. Like now we do complete authorize eligibility. When I say eligibility, it means checking if a patient has an active policy or not, right? Getting the prior authorizations, making sure that the code, CPT code, ICD codes, everything is accurate. So I think we as a company now have a more holistic background on how the complete office works. So we are able to provide the complete business consulting to our practices and not just billing, which is what results into that extra 15% that they are able to get. That's just one thing. But the second thing is hiring and retaining good talent is always another challenge that you see with practices all the time. When we have people going in and out of the practice, and with the claim cycles being so long, if you lose somebody, it takes maybe 15-20 days to hire somebody. Once that person comes on board, then you have to again train them. By the time they submit the claim, it's, let's say it's already 30 days. So you are already 30 days behind into your revenue cycle, a cycle which already takes 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So you see the ripple effect in the revenue. And the third and the most important thing is, as a billing company, we are paid based on what we get collected and not just a salary like any employee. So as a company, we have all the incentives to not leave a single dollar on the table. If a doctor gets paid $1, we get paid either 3 cents or 4 cents out of that dollar. So there is that win-win situation, and the incentives are aligned for providers and us. Even for small practices, when you have somebody in the office, you have to pay him or her no matter what. We get only paid if doctor worked. If doctor was on a vacation for a week or two or a month, we they don't have to pay us, right? If they didn't get paid, they don't have to pay. So these are some of the benefits for a smaller to medium sized practices have, is their cost is contained, and they have a big upside on the revenue because our incentives are to maximize their revenue.
So you work basically, they're hiring someone on a salary and you're being paid based on what's collected.
Correct.
Which is amazing, right? And I'm sure the doctors feel really good about that, because if you're not performing, they're not paying, which is always a wonderful thing as a consumer or as someone hiring a service. So what results, Binta, or what kinds of results or transformations have you helped your clients achieve through better billing and revenue management?
I have so many stories to tell you.
I can't wait to hear them.
Okay, so I will start with, back in 2015, we had a practice, a pain management doctor that came to us through, again, a referral, and most of the businesses through referral. He came to us and he said that he has tough time meeting I mean, making the ends meet. Really, like, the revenue of that provider was about $20,000 a month. And for a practice, that revenue means nothing. He had to pay the rent for a facility. He had multiple people working in the office, and he was seeing patients the whole day, on an average 30 to 40 patients a day. So literally, he's like, Benta, I am putting money from my bank into this business. What is it that you can do? I said, give me a chance. Let me audit your practice, first of all. Once we audit your practice, we'll know what are the challenges. And then let's see how we can, take you forward. We analyzed the practice. We figured out the claims were not going on time. There were no authorizations. If the claims were denied, they were not worked timely and whatnot. And we worked with him and his practice over a period of 6 months and 8 months. And now he has been with us for 10 plus years. The first year, the revenue went from $20,000 a month to $60,000 per month the first year.
Wow. That's incredible. That's a big jump.
Yes, that was a big jump. He finally came out. He was profitable. He was so happy. And not just that, now he has many nurse practitioners, PA in the office, and the revenue is close to $200,000 a month. So that practice back in 2015 we started, now is close to $200,000.
That's amazing. And when you hear, I want to put this into perspective, because when you hear $20,000 a month, some of you may be going, that's good money. I wish I was doing that. And hopefully if you're a business and you're not hitting that, then you're just starting, but you haven't been in it. And if you have been in it, especially if you're a medical practitioner, you need to reach out to Binta, because I guarantee you she'll find you money that you're just missing. But $20,000 a month, many businesses would be happy to be having that just to stay consistent. But that's not profitable for most maybe any medical practices, because they've got, one, they're paying their own salary. They're paying for schooling, right? And a lot of them have student loans. They're paying for insurance, malpractice insurance, and they're paying for overhead, and they're paying for their staff, whatever that looks like. That $20,000 sounds now stretched thin, and who knows if they're even paying themselves at that point. Most of them are not, with the way you just
Absolutely,
right?
they are not paying.
Yeah.
They are absolutely not paying. After all you just described, they are leaving home with nothing. And not just that, they are putting more money out of their own pocket to survive, to run that practice.
Exactly, which is what he was doing at $20,000 a month. So $60,000 a month sounds like a lot of money, but when you break that down, they're probably just, even then, in order to grow, which is what businesses want, we need to have money available in order to take the next step, to invest in other things that are going to grow us. So I think that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story. That's phenomenal. Kudos to you and to him for hiring you and bringing you on. Very smart move there. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you're seeing medical practices make when it comes to billing their insurance claims and collections?
So I think some of the biggest mistakes are, without even realizing they go through on a daily basis, is doctor is so involved in actually patient care, and which is a good thing. That's what they are supposed to do. Most of our providers spend ton of a time seeing patients and providing the best care that they can give. But when it comes to the business part of the medicine is where we see a lot of gaps. By the time you are booking an appointment with the patient, figuring out whether patient has any active insurance or not, making sure if a patient has a very high deductible, like nowadays most of the plans have not just 500, 600. My personal deductible is like $6,000, right? So if a patient has a $6,000 deductible and you see that patients, you're not going to get paid, right? So you need to have some plan in place before seeing that patient. Again, like going back to the whole process, authorizations, working on medical records, that is one of the most common things that come up. Nowadays, more and more insurance companies are asking for medical records to prove the medical necessity, or in a way not to pay the provider. So then again, having them complete their notes, and of course they do, but again, they're so busy with patients that these are things that are secondary. And that's where we find so many challenges with this practice, is actually checking their process step by step and knowing their numbers, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that if I saw 20 patients a day and this is my expected revenue, am I making that money? And if not, why? Questioning them. By the time they realize that, when they see the actual bank account and when they see that money going out is more than money coming in, that's when they realize, and it's kind of too late by then to fix that. Of course, you can fix those issues, but again, it takes time and effort. So having a business consultant like us or any other billing company who knows end-to-end process, so that they don't have to be chasing money all the time. They can be free and focus on patient care, and they don't have to really have tough time make ends meet.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like any business, right? When we should be focusing on what we're really good at and allowing people to come in to do what we're not good at. Because if a doctor was handling this, or maybe bringing someone else in, they're going to spend a lot more time doing that and a lot more money, because they're paying that person a salary, and they may not be getting all of those collectibles in that they should be collectible, that they should be getting in, or making sure that the patient they're set up to see that patient like you set them up to be. Binta, I'm curious, I would like to shift gears a little bit and move into business growth and what you've experienced in your 12 years, and maybe even bringing experience from before this of what you're doing. But how are you getting in front of these doctors, like to make sure that they know about you? How are you building these relationships? How are you creating these clients? What are the marketing and visibility strategies or tactics even that you're doing?
Honestly, Heidi, I am not doing much. In fact,
That's awesome.
I'm not sure, but yes, that's that with God grace and with good service and everything, but that is something we do need to do. Most of our growth so far has been through referral, one doctor referring our service to the other. But we have lately realized that we have capacity to help more practices and we can help more practices. So we need to go out and make ourselves visible and share them the knowledge and the experience that we have. So very, very recently, we have started social media marketing and more education to our providers to say, hey, what are the things that they can do to help their business, So yes, we have very recently started spending money on social media. So nothing was done till now.
Yeah. Well, great for jumping in, and kudos to you for being able to just be creating the business that you created in the last 12 years off of referrals and the relationships you have. That is a testament to, the service and the work that you provide. And it is good that you're adding new things in just to keep that pipeline going so that you can scale if that's what you want. Some companies are happy where they are. The thing about not having a pipeline is that if something happens, something that could be a big drop and unexpected. So I'm glad that you're taking those steps. So when it comes to social media, you said you've added that in investing. Are you investing in social media, or is it just that you've brought on a team or someone to do that for you?
We have brought on not on team members, but we are taking marketing services, social media services. There is a team who is helping us with our Instagram, Facebook, or Meta, or Google ads and Facebook ads and things like that.
Perfect. So you're running paid advertising now too.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we just started. Yes.
Oh, congratulations. Are there areas that you've tried in the past that haven't worked or haven't given you the return that you had hoped for as far as visibility and marketing go?
I think earlier I would say that in fact we have restarted, but few years back we did do some Google AdWords and things like that where we had spent money, but we didn't see the return or probably didn't do long enough, I think. And I think so then we had stopped, but now we are at a stage where we want to resume. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Perfect. So what's next for Zen Medical Services? What are the big goals for you in the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months, there are a few things that we do want to help. Again, going back to not really going on the bandwagon of automation, but there are certain tasks that we can really automate that will allow our team members to focus on things that are more valuable. I mean, AI can do as much as data is out there. Certain decision making have to be done by people. And what we want to do is that we want to try and automate. So there are a lot of automations already going on in healthcare: patient calling, appointment scheduling, patient balances, follow-ups, text messages, and all that. But there are many other things within even our own processes like claim submission, denials tracking, and all that. So those are the pieces and it's always unique to a practice. So it's not like that any software can provide those kind of automations that we can directly use. So those are the things that we as a company are working with another third party vendor to see what those automations we can bring into place so that the people who are currently doing those tasks can do better tasks, can do more tasks that are more educational, more focused on things that AI cannot solve. And that's our focus for next year. And also reaching out to more like multi provider practices and surgery centers to help them, because we know those are the people that need help.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can, if I was able to give you a magic wand and you can wave it over one issue or challenge you're having right now, what would it, that you could go poof and it disappears, what would it be and why?
I would say that magic wand would be not just for my own business, but for every single provider. I want them to be paid on all 98% claims. I mean, they don't have to go through all this headache to get them paid. Providers work very hard, and I really feel for them. So that would be an ideal nirvana state if we can get into.
Well, I love that goal for them and for you as well. So hopefully we can make that happen. Can you share, Binta, with everybody listening, how they can connect with you, how they can find you and learn more?
Absolutely. So people can go to our website, zenservices.net, Instagram, Zen Medical Services, Facebook, Zen Medical Services, LinkedIn, I am Binta Patel. People can look me up. And my email is my first name, binta.patel@zenservices.net. And I'm very quick in responding. Anything that, they want to know, I will be happy to support them. And in fact, also encourage those people who are looking for a career path. My sincere request to all of you, whether you are coming out of college or you are at any point at your career in life and looking for a change, healthcare is the field to be in. There is so many opportunities out there, so much to do and so much money to be made. So I invite everyone who is looking for a change in career to reach out to me. I will be more than happy to share what I have learned, how you can come in this field if you like, because there is unlimited opportunities and not enough people to serve.
Wow. Well, thank you for your generosity in that offer and for sharing that, because I think a lot of people I know, there's a lot of people not knowing what to do, or they want to make a pivot, or we've got, people leaving college, graduating, not knowing what to do next. And like my daughter is entering college not next year, but the following year. And to know that there's not enough people in this space, and that this space is one of those open spaces that, you can come in, learn it, and make a good living. That's important to know, especially with the evolution of AI and everything that's happening. There's a lot of uncertainty on what people should be doing or where they're going, or if they're going to have jobs in 2 years, let alone 10 years. So thank you for that. Real quick before we wrap up, since we just I just brought that up and leaned into AI. I know your medical billing, I'm sure you utilize AI, but the AI that you're using now, is this something that's evolved over the years that you're utilizing? Are there specific tools that you like, and how has AI affected, whether positively or negatively, your business and what you're seeing in the medical space?
So I think by the time, like I was telling you before, 10 years back, some of the things that we was all done manual: appointment scheduling, calling patients, sending patient statements out on electronically, text messages. There are very, very small but productive changes has come along in AI, and we find it very, very useful. Appeals generation and all that. And there are some challenges that we are now seeing with invent of AI. Is now insurance companies who are processing claims are also using AI to adjudicate the claim. So now more and more denials we are seeing on the provider sides. The claims that are denied are not paid incorrectly because their automation software has tracked them as a faulty claim or not appropriate claim. So I think we in healthcare are seeing both side of the things. There is ease in actually doing overall processes, but there is an increase of challenges as it relates to revenue and other things, because everybody is leveraging AI, and AI is as good as the data that you have. And that's where we are saying that, hey, we still need that human interface to make those decisions. And that's where I say healthcare is a field. No matter how much AI comes, it will help, but there will be human needed to take care of the things that are beyond AI's space. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Binta, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. Thank you all for listening. For those of you watching us on YouTube, thank you. We're grateful you're here with us. We say hello. If you know of anybody, doctors, medical practices, or anyone out there that would benefit from hearing Binta today and learning more about Zen Medical Services, please share this episode with them. It really helps us be able to share this with more people by your support. So if you found value in this and you know of your thinking and you're like, oh my gosh, Dr. John should know about this, please just share the episode. It's as easy as that. You don't have to connect them. Just share the episode and let that her message speak for itself. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, thank you. We're grateful. If you're open to leaving review, 5 stars would be beneficial and very much appreciative. That allows the podcast platform to push this episode and Binta's interview here to more people, to allow more people to hear her, learn more about Zen Medical Services and what they provide. If you know of anybody in the medical space that could benefit from her service or just hearing her today, please share this episode with them as well. This podcast was created because we see 90% of businesses fail within 5 years. With the evolution of AI, more should be succeeding. Not only that, more entrepreneurs and businesses are coming into the field, just like Binta was sharing. This is an open space. More people are needing places of what are we going to do as far as work goes. So more people are entering the business world and starting businesses. So the more that we can share Binta and her message and what she's provided, what she shared, what's working for her and what's not working for her, we want to flip that number of 90% failing up to 90% succeeding in the first 5 years. That's the goal. So anything that you can support us in sharing this and Binta out there, we appreciate you. I did promise y'all a gift. So if you are looking to grow your visibility, Binta has shared with you what's working for her, what's not working for her, the step that she's taking now in marketing, where she's growing in the future, in the near future. If you're feeling like you're doing the things and you're out there on social or you're getting on podcasts or you're doing this and you feel like you're running that hamster wheel and you're trying to get strategic with your visibility, go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com, download the blueprint. It's free. It's yours. Go play with it. Let us know how it works for you. Binta, before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to share or say that we didn't talk about or touch on today?
No, I think you have pretty much covered. And again, I invite those who want to explore in healthcare, any guidance, any information that I can provide, I will be very happy to connect with you.
Thank you for your generosity, Binta. Thank you all for listening to us today. Please share this episode. Go connect with Binta. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlight.